a greening plan and a nature plan is needed for Gulfton, because if you visit, if you live in it, work, worship, play in it, you see that there is absolutely very little green space, very little tree canopies. Personally, as someone who has lived in the area for almost 40 years, as I was raising my kiddos, I, at that time, did not have the funds to take my kids to go camping, go to a state park, or even barely make it to Galveston, to expose my children to nature. I did take them to the zoo and to other areas in the city, but why can't I take my kids just down the street to a neighborhood park to have access to it? I don't want to drive across the city for them to experience nature. We live in an apartment complex, and many of our residents and neighbors live in an apartment complex, and even in the properties, there is no access to green space, very limited access to green space. When you see our children playing outside and recreation activities, they're playing in the parking lot. They're playing soccer in the parking lot, playing dodgeball or whatever, they're out in the parking lot. That is not a conducive environment for my kids. And so I think it's also helpful for our mental wellness, for our physical health, and for us to breathe the fresh air. I can tell the difference when I'm in the neighborhood and there's no green space. But if I go to an area where it's very luscious and just all these trees and all this green around me, I can tell the difference in the quality of the air. So I think just having a greener neighborhood, a greener Gulfton, creates a healthier environment for communities to thrive. Some of the aspects in the plan that get me really excited and pumped up are the ideas that our community residents are coming up with. Like, for example, we've heard through our discussions with residents in the area, at the churches, at the parks, that something that connects them to their country is a placita, a centralized location where people gather, sit outside, enjoy nature, enjoy time with family and friends. And I think in a city, in a society where we're always on the go and always fast-paced, we don't take time to sit and be still and be present. And I think some of the ideas that our residents and our neighbors have talked about, not just in this committee, in this group, but as a community, the input that we received, I think that's what really gets me excited, to hear our community engaged and that they want to see better and that we do have the potential and the capacity to do better. After this plan is released and the momentum is there, the energy is there, 5 years from now, I see newly planted trees and hopefully some fruit trees, citrus trees, one that's going to help address food insecurity, create access to fresh fruits. And I do see that placita. I see that placita. I can envision our communities gathering in this one place, wherever it's located in Gulfton. That's going to be a central location to our neighborhood that will bridge our communities. We come from so many different places around the world, and I think as someone who would come from the outside coming into Gulfton, they're going to see this is a united world. This is the mini United Nations where everyone gathers, where everyone, regardless of how we look and the language that we speak, this is a centralized location where people can be united. I think we will create healthier communities. The air quality in our neighborhood with increased greening in the neighborhood. I think I can hear the children laughing. I can hear the children playing. I can hear the different languages that are being spoken. I can smell the foods because they'll be sharing meals together. That's what I see in Gulfton 5 years from now. something that I'm very proud of this committee, and the way that community partners who are not from the neighborhood, who were intentional in how they worked with the community, how they provided the opportunity for the community to have a voice, to create whatever we're creating in this plan, that it's really grassroots, that it's from the neighborhood, people who have lived here, people who work here, that this is a community plan, and that people who came from the outside, and for me that's very important, that when people come in from the outside, that they respect and honor our community. And I appreciate that through this process from day one.